Hello, everyone. Welcome to Chop and Slice. I'm one of the co-hosts, Michael, and this is
Brandon.
and we are here to review The Barbarian, the newly released Barbarian movie.
You know, this movie was definitely something. This one had me going. Definitely my kind of movie. So I guess we're just gonna get right into it. This was really good. We have our opening scene here with one of our main characters, Tess. She's texting someone in a car. Then she begins to approach this house. She's making a phone call, making sure that, she's got the right address. She's kind of standing out in the rain. Then this man, Keith, answers the door. He invites her in. And that's pretty much the opening. Then it goes to the title screen. She seemed a little kind of reluctant about getting in the house. She requests for confirmation that he lives there, and
Not that he lives there, but he's renting it out.
Renting it out. And so he's like, yeah, I'll get that for you, and I'll be right back and stuff. And so she kind of snoops around, gets a feel of the place. And then he kind of appears behind her, kind of startles her a little bit. So as she continues to snoop around, they kind of make a little bit of small talk. She goes through his wallet, snaps a picture of his ID, because she seems to be a little bit suspicious about the guy. She begins to walk by and sees him sitting there at a table with a glass of wine, invites her to
join him.
Right, to join him. She denies the glass of wine, but she does sit down and they start making small talk, right? Still kind of getting a feel for each other. He asks her what she does for work, and she said that she's doing this interview for a research documentary filmmaker. And she seems very impressed when he says that he actually was one of the founders of this band called the Lion Tamers. So she seemed impressed by that. And then they really start to connect very well. They share some, pretty good laughs, and they seem to get a little drunk. She does start to drink the wine. They get a little drunk, share some laughs. He starts dressing up as this ghost or whatever. Being stupid. It's kind of a douchebag. And then they decide to call it a night. She goes to pass out.
Well, let's not forget he was kind of standing there is something going to happen between us? And she was like...
Yeah, there was this awkward silence.
There was something, he was expecting something, but it didn't.
It just didn't quite
pan out. The guy who played Keith is Bill Skarsgård, just so you know. He played Pennywise, so...
Yeah.
In there.
Okay. Cool.
Well, good to know. Needs to be announced.
Does it?
Yes.
Okay.
That's the famous Bill Skarsgård.
Okay. Whatever, Michael. Anyways,
that needs to be
so she's kind of, she begins to sleep in the middle of the night. She closes the door but doesn't lock it. Notices a creaking noise, and she kind of peeps out, and he's looking like, well, right, it's kind of peeped out.
Yeah, well, when she went to bed,
It's cracked open. It's not fully
when she
open.
went to bed, the door was closed. Now
Right,
it's
right.
cracked
Now
open.
it's open. And so she's kind of looking out and sees him there, like, having a nightmare. I don't know what that was about, if he's just like a disturbed person or whatever.
Yeah.
But she goes out and wakes him up, kind of scares the shit out of him. But as she's approaching him, before that happens, you kind of notice something in the background, like a door closing. So she scares him by waking him up. And so she decides to go back to bed. She asks him why, or if he had opened her door. He says no. So she just goes back to bed. And it's the next day. Keith is gone. He leaves a note basically saying that he had such a great time last night. Like, you didn't even get laid, dude. Like,
Oh, it was weird.
yeah, that was kind of weird. So she goes out to go to this job interview. Kind of riding through the rough neighborhoods of Detroit. Meets up with the filmmaker. And the filmmaker seems to know doesn't really know what's going on in the house, but kind of concerned about the neighborhood and basically warns her to be careful that she shouldn't be where she's at. So she gets back to the house, walks up, and then there's a stranger that begins to run towards her, and so she's kind of panicking, frantically looking for the keys. She gets in and closes the door. So while Keith is still gone, out and about, she's kind of, still getting a feel of the place, notices that there's a basement, walks down there, explores the basement a little bit.
I don't remember why she went down there, but
I don't know. Oh, well, I'm getting
laundry,
to that.
I think.
No, toilet paper.
Oh yeah.
She goes down there to get the toilet paper. And she goes back up, and I think the bathroom door was locked. So she goes back down to the basement.
No, when she went down there, then the door closed. The basement door closed, and then she was locked in the basement. She never went back up there that door closes for some reason.
Oh, right, because she went down there to get the toilet paper, and then
it closed.
Right, the door closed, so she never went back up there. Yeah, that makes more sense. So yeah, the door closes. She ends up being locked down there, and so kind of looking to find a way out, notices this rope. When she pulls on it, discovered a secret passageway, and she uses the mirror to reflect. Which, didn't she have her phone on? She left the phone upstairs, right?
Yeah.
Right, so she didn't have the flashlight. She used the mirror to reflect off the light to see what was down the hallway, and gets pretty brave, decides to explore the hallway, and goes into this room, notices that there's a tripod with a camera on it, and a bed with a bucket.
And the bed is stained with blood.
Yeah, so that's pretty creepy. There's this little window in the basement that she begins to bang on. She's terrified. And Keith is there. He helps her out through the window. They get back into the house, and she's crying and panicking and telling him what she saw, and he kind of doesn't believe her, and she just wants to leave. He begs her not to leave, that he'll go check it out, and asks if she just would wait till he gets back. So she agrees. She waits there. He goes down. He's gone for a few moments, and she approaches the door to the basement. She cries out for Keith. He says he's down there, and then cries out again, and no response. So she wants to go down there and explore a little more. Man, she's got a lot of courage. So she uses a chair to brace the door, so that way she doesn't get locked in again. Goes back down in the hallway. Then did she notice the other? Yeah, she did. She noticed another door that goes down to an even darker place.
Goes downstairs.
Right.
Down a tunnel, it looked like.
Yeah, it was like a tunnel. Man, that looked creepy. So, she has her flashlight out, and Keith is, like, crawling. It looked freaky as fuck, dude.
Yeah, she walks down the stairs, can't see him, and then
his face appears in the flashlight, and it was really fucked up looking. So...
Next thing you know...
Next thing you know,
this creature appears.
Yeah, this creature... Its mother, is it? I don't even...
The name of the Cass's mother.
I don't know.
Ends up
We'll just call it the
slamming
creature.
Keith's face against the wall many times, killing him, presumably, and then it cuts to Justin Long's character, which is...
Right, a very dramatic shift in the movie. It's like we're in a whole new movie now.
He's singing, he's dancing, he's having a good time.
He's just having a good old time. So yeah, this is where Justin Long makes his appearance, and he gets a phone call. You know, he's singing and dancing in his car. He gets a call from this show he's doing, I guess, being accused of sexual harassment, that he's gonna be getting fired. He's like, that fucking bitch.
Yeah.
Oh, he was a character in this.
So he got fired.
Right, and then I believe he goes and talks to, I think, his accountant, finds out he's running out of money, that he's going to be broke, he may have to sell his car.
His house.
Yeah, his house, whatever.
And his accountant doesn't want to even be with him anymore.
Right. And so he gets in this car, and he rents out a place. He gets the same address as Tess and Keith. Goes there, gets a call from his mom, other bullshit, ends up going out to the bar with a buddy. I guess he admits to kind of having some sort of sexual relations with this woman. Not that he raped her, but...
With the woman that reported that he raped her.
Right. So then he goes back to the house, discovers the basement. And Justin Long's character is AJ Gilbride, by the way.
AJ Gilbride, yeah. Right.
So he's kind of getting a feel of the place, like, what the fuck is all this shit just laying around? He goes down in this basement, and he's just like, no one's fucking with me.
He's like measuring it out.
Yeah,
I'm not sure if he's trying to buy the place and sell it or what's going on.
He's just measuring. He goes in that room with that creepy bed and the tripod, just starts moving,
laying around on it,
just sitting on it, just doesn't give a fuck. And
he later goes down into that same tunnel Tess went into, and then ends up discovering this creature, essentially.
Now he's a little freaked out.
Then he takes off running, and then he falls down
like a pit or something.
A pit, and that's where he finds Tess.
Right, and then it switches to
a flashback.
Right, to Richard Brake.
Richard Brake's character, that I'm not sure we ever get a name out of him, but
so he just starts shopping around in the grocery store. What's he looking for in there?
Baby stuff.
Yeah, baby shit. Starts sitting in his car all creepy and walks into some woman's room. I think
stalks her and then walks into her house.
Yeah, kind of fucking weird. So he goes back to, I guess, his house, and there's like a woman screaming. I guess someone he was raping. I don't know. But then it cuts back to the good stuff. With AJ and Tess. So this creature, I guess, wants them to drink her breast milk. Ugh, it's so creepy, right? And she's telling she's urging AJ to drink out of this bottle with her breast milk, and
Yeah.
it's just because I guess if he doesn't, she'll get mad.
Yeah.
So he refuses. She jumps down, drags him, and brings him to like this breastfeeding class in there, and like actually starts breastfeeding him. Like,
Yeah, it's disgusting.
Whoa!
At this point, Tessa's getting out of the pit.
Right, she
leaves
begins to escape.
She gets to escape because there was a hatch door that was opened after,
Keith and
after the Barbarian. I'm assuming we'll just call her the Barbarian because that's the title of the movie. After the
Okay.
Barbarian left the hatch door to go pull out AJ, she escaped because the hatch door was left open in the pit. Then she starts running away as he's trapped getting breastfed.
right, and that stranger from earlier helps her out, helps her escape.
Yeah, he ends up being a good person trying to help her because he knows what's down there. And then he's pulling her out the window. You can see the Barbarian trying to
grab her.
Right. Yes.
So he warns her about what's going on, and she wants to go back in there yeah. I guess she wants to help him out. But she runs to the police for help, brings them to the house. They don't believe her story. They kind of just walk away on another call. So she goes back in to, I guess, grab her car keys. And it's, I believe, nighttime now. That's when the Barbarian comes out.
And at this point, we see Justin Long's character go into another room down there, and that's where he meets Richard Brake's character.
Right, during this, it's kind of going on at the same time.
Laying in the bed, he's crippled and, like, probably at least 80 years old, maybe older. He's just an old guy anyway. He points to these videotapes, of all these names on them, presumably of all the girls he's raped in that one room where that camera and the tripod was set up.
Right.
And Justin Long puts in a VHS tape of it, and he's like shocked about everything happening.
So during that time, the Barbarian comes out and she runs her over into the house, believing that she's dead. So then she goes back down to the basement. They meet up.
Well, Richard Brake ends up shooting himself.
Richard Brake ends up shooting himself, correct.
Probably because he feels bad for what he did in the past.
Maybe. Or either that or he's just rotting down there.
And he's probably just happy he got it off his chest and showed somebody. So
I never looked at it that way.
Well, why he could have shot himself at any point. You know, he probably just wanted to show somebody and probably felt really bad, and then he ended up shooting himself in the head.
So, yeah, they meet up. They go back outside and see that the Barbarian is gone. They meet up back with this homeless guy. He kind of gives the breakdown about, the history of that place, because he seems to know a lot for whatever reason.
Richard Brake is the Barbarian's father. Because the Barbarian is a female. How the homeless guy explains it is that Richard Brake would bring down these women, he would rape them, have children with them, and then their children would have sex with their children, and that's how the Barbarian got created, out of some messed up mutation garbage going on down there. So yeah, I have no idea, but that's what spawned the Barbarian.
So as he's telling the story, the Barbarian, I guess the Barbarian does go out at night.
Yeah.
And breaks down the door or the wall behind him, grabs him, rips his arm off, and just starts beating him with it.
Yeah, rips off the homeless man's arm.
They
pretty
make a
disgusting.
run. Yeah, it was pretty fucking brutal. So they make Tess and AJ. They make their way up this water tower, and God, this has to be one of the shittiest things I've ever seen.
Well, let's not forget AJ drops his gun because he
He tries to shoot her. Drops the gun, and then since he was defenseless, the Barbarian was making its way up there. Throws Tess off the water tower.
He says, "You can't escape," because I think we forgot the part where he ends up shooting Tess. Remember, he shoots Tess.
Yeah, he does shoot her.
And then she can't move. She's hurting, so he ends up sacrificing her on the water tower because, she can't escape. So he says, "You can't escape, but I can." So he ends up throwing Tess off the water tower, and then the Barbarian ends up going after Tess and saves her, essentially. And then they crash on the floor. Off the water tower.
On the ground.
On the ground, yeah.
But, yeah. So, AJ feels guilty about this. He goes down and sees that Tess is still alive. And, but she can't really get a word out because I think she kind of got the wind knocked out of her.
Yeah.
And the Barbarian is still alive. Gets up and gouges out his eyes and rips his whole head open. That was pretty fucking gnarly kill.
Really brutal kill.
And then AJ pulls out the gun and shoots the Barbarian in the head.
It wasn't AJ who did that.
Or no, AJ my bad. Tess pulls out the gun.
The Barbarian walks up to her and was like, "Mama."
Why is it calling her mama?
Because she probably never had a mom. She's innocent. Like, she's just lost. Barbarian, I don't think she never had a mom. Her dad is a terrible person. She's deformed. She doesn't know what's going on. You kind of gains, like, some sympathy. So she looked at Tess as, like, a potential mother. Somebody that could take care of her. Because she never had that.
I guess.
That's what it was.
That's fucking creepy. And that's the end credits. I have no sympathy for that fucking thing.
I do.
I don't.
Because it's not her fault. It's the way she was spawned. You think about it.
The fuck out of here. That shit. Anyways.
That's nothing wrong with it. Look at how she was spawned.
Fuck that.
She's mutated.
I don't give a fuck.
The real villain of this movie is her father.
Well, I'm not a fan of his either.
Raping all these women and killing them and forcing
he's a sick fuck.
That's what started this whole thing. Was that him? He created that thing.
Yes. Anyways, on to the ratings. What do you give this movie, Michael?
Solid 8 of 10.
I'm going to agree with that. I'm going to go with an 8 of 10 as well. This was a very good movie. Not an absolute masterpiece, but it was funny at parts.
It was a good refresh.
Yeah, it was definitely a really good refresh. It was
something different and not just paranormal or slasher.
Right.
It was very intense.
And Justin Long was fucking funny.
He
killed it in this.
Justin Long is good in everything he does. I love Justin Long.
Yeah, so do I. So that leaves it at a chop and slice rating at 16 out of 20.
16 out of 20.
Not bad. Not bad.
No, I enjoyed this movie. You guys should definitely go check it out.
Yeah.
It's very well shot, well filmed, well produced. The visuals were great. The way the Barbarian looked was pretty cool. There's not a whole lot of negatives to it. I mean, it did kind of start off slow, but I don't know. You don't know where it was going, so I first thought the guy Keith was the villain. at first.
Yeah, I kind of thought the same thing
'Cause
too.
he was like, "Why don't you just stay here?" Every
Uh,
time she tried to leave.
Right, and you know what, and I think that was very genius strategy. I think the developers wanted you to think that.
Yeah, yeah, that was smart.
Mm-hmm.
He was definitely a creep, though. I think he would have been up to something.
He seemed genuine, I'd say.
Yeah, but he just seemed like he was trying to get laid, though, too.
Well,
Why don't you just
what's
stay
every
here?
guy trying to do? I
Why
mean,
don't
come
you
on.
just stay here? But yeah, it was a nice film. I enjoyed it.
Definitely.
I'd go check it out. If you guys haven't seen it, go see it. It's still in movie theaters. It's available on HBO Max as well. That's where we watched it.
So that about wraps it up for the Barbarian, and yeah, beware the Barbarian, I guess.
What?
I don't know. I don't know how to close this.
Just, I think the moral of this movie is use condoms. Or else you might create something like that. Go like and subscribe if you want. If not, that's okay too. But we appreciate you guys. Have a great night, great day. Hopefully you guys go see this movie because it was very, very good. I enjoyed it.
Intense.
Yep, and I doubt they'll make a sequel to it, but who knows? I wouldn't mind seeing one. But that's it, guys. Have a good one, and we will see you guys later.